Alright guys, what is going on? BusterBarnes here and welcome to my review / reaction of Chelsea's 3-1 win yesterday against Brighton. Frank Lampard's second season is officially underway, and in this video I'm going to be giving a general overview of the match, focusing on some of the key moments as well, a small note on Brighton, and also I'll be giving ratings from the players out of 10 to see who performed well and who didn't during our 3-1 win. I'm also going to be introducing a new player of the season point system where I'll be tallying up points for players throughout the season to come to a conclusion as to who I think our player of the season will be. So if you do enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Chelsea and football content in general, and leave a comment down below as well what you guys thought of the game and your ratings out of 10 too. Alright guys, so getting straight into it, looking at the team, we can see that there were a few changes from my prediction in my predictions video. We did still have Kepper in goal, still, a bit dodgy on that. I wasn't sure how Kepper was going to perform. All we could do was hope that he was going to recover from last season. We did have Reese James at right back and Zuma at centre back as well, like predicted, but they were accompanied in their back four by Marcos Alonso and Andreas Christensen. Maybe it looks like Tomori will be going on loan, as he was not even on the bench, unfortunately. In the midfield, it was a 4-2-3-1. We had the double pivot of Kante and Jorginho, with Loftus-Cheek as the cam, and to the left of him Mason Mount, to the right of him the debuting Kai Havertz, and up front the German making his debut Timo Verna. So yeah, obviously I predicted players like Pulisic and Callum Hudson-Odoi to feature. Not too sure why we didn't see Hudson-Odoi. Pulisic apparently isn't fully fit yet, so he wasn't even on the bench. Azpilicueta in defence as well, wasn't fully fit to start the game, but he did come on later. We'll get onto the bench players as well. But going into the first half, it was clear to see that some of the players were a bit rusty. It is clear as well that we didn't really have a pre-season. We had one pre-season game before pretty much our entire team was, jetted off to international duty. Even in that pre-season game as well, half the squad didn't even play. So this is a lot of players' first minutes of football this season, so it was clear the players were a bit rusty, and it is going to take this team some time to gel. If you look at XG actually throughout the entire game, Brighton actually had a higher expected goals margin than us. They will be actually quite annoyed that they did not take anything from this game. But yeah, as the first half and second half went on, our team did start to click a little bit better. But a quick note on Brighton, Tariq Lamptey was definitely their best player, former Blue. A shame that he had to leave the club, but fair enough that he did. Obviously a brave move from him. Obviously he wasn't going to start over Reese James or Azpilicueta, so he decided to move. I think he'll definitely be playing for a bigger club than Brighton in the future. Not too sure if at a right back or a right wing back, maybe he could go to Wolves or something like that, but I'm not too sure. But he definitely has a bright future ahead of him. Some notes from the first half before we get to the goal. Timo Verna looking very lively. He was probably our best player in the first half, whilst the midfield wasn't really clicking. Zuma and Christensen looking, fairly solid at the back. Zuma looking the more dominant, winning aerials, making blocks, which he did throughout the entire game. Reese James looking solid as well. However, Marcos Alonso, his left side was being exploited, and he was being run rampant by the player I just mentioned for Brighton, Tariq Lamptey, not making him a few times, running past him. He was giving Alonso a torrid time, and yeah, just completely outclassed him. And I mean, Ben Chilwell cannot come soon enough, as Alonso just was not having a great game at all. In the midfield, Kante looking fully fit finally. It was really nice to see. Hopefully he can keep that up. Jorginho as well, captaining the side, as Azpilicueta was not playing. So both of them, looked fairly decent in the midfield. They did get sliced through a few times, mainly on Jorginho's side. Obviously his mobility is a bit of an issue. Loftus-Cheek unfortunately did not have a great game. He was very rusty. I do think it will just take for him to finally get that goal, and we will see him sort of, rise back up to the levels, at least hopefully, that he was when he was playing under Sarri. Yeah, not a great game from him. Kai Havertz as well, not a great game from him, but obviously these were, I think, his first minutes of the season. He didn't feature in pre-season for Leverkusen, nor did he play any pre-season minutes for Germany as well as the transfer was getting sorted. So, we did have to bring him into the squad eventually, so this probably was a fair game to do it. He wasn't awful, he did show moments of quality. He did also make a few mistakes. He got dispossessed once and actually ran back about 30 yards to win the ball back, which obviously was great motivation. That will really impress Lampard and it impressed the fans as well. So not really, don't really want to judge him too much on this game, but it was good to see him get some minutes. Mason Mount, again, solid, didn't really get pre-season minutes either. Timo Werner, like I said, looking very lively. Getting into the goal, it was actually Timo Verna who made a darting run through. It was actually a mistake by Brighton. Jorginho passed to Werner, who ran through, just knocked the ball past the Brighton defender and went down. Clear penalty, and Jorginho was the one to step up and slot it home. Obviously with Jorginho on the pitch, he's going to take the penalties. With his technique and record, he is probably our best penalty taker. With him off the pitch, I'd expect it to maybe be Werner, but Jorginho nice and calmly slots the ball home for it to be 1-0, and that was mainly it for the first half. I do think that Brighton were the better team in the first half. They did have some chances which maybe they should have put away. Kepper did actually make a nice save from a long-range effort, so that was quite surprising as well that he actually, made a save. Didn't actually, fingertip it into his own net, but we will get on that a little bit later. Going into the second half, we did pick up towards the latter end, but it was Brighton who got back off the mark. They equalised with a long-range effort from one of their players. Kepper, just awful from him. He should have really done better. The ball went under his hand. He got a little bit of a hand to it. He just didn't react in time. When the ball's, that far out and the shot's coming from that far away, you clearly see it. And, this just shows that Edouard Mendy cannot come soon enough into the team. Kepper, I do want to, give him, credit. I do want him to, be a good player. There was a really funny interview actually after the game where stupidly the host of Sky Sports asked Lampard, is he happy with Kepper? And Lampard had to obviously say, yeah, I'm really happy with him. He's, got a good attitude. Obviously, he's going to say that because he's not going to just rag on his players. And then after the game, the host, or after the interview, the host asked Gary Neville, hey, Gary, Lampard's apparently happy with Kepper. And Gary just went, I don't think he is. None of us think he is, Gary. I don't think Lampard's happy with Kepper at all. Obviously, we're getting our new goalkeeper in. Probably won't be able to start the Liverpool game, which is a shame. But, hopefully after that, we will see him in goal over Kepper. Hopefully, surely he can't be any worse, touch wood, than Kepper. So, not a great moment from him. But besides that, Kepper didn't have much to do. As we did eventually pick up, Loftus-Cheek came off for Barkley. And Barkley, to be fair to him, did change the tempo of the game a bit. The team started playing a bit better, a bit smoother. Like I said, Loftus-Cheek unfortunately not having the best game. I do think he's a bit better as an 8 though. Him playing sort of low number 10 I don't think really works anyway, but still not great. Probably should have done a bit better. Barkley came on, sort of changed the tempo a bit. And after Brighton's goal, we replied almost instantly with a Reese James screamer, goal of the month contender in the Premier League for sure already in the first week. Right nestled in the top right corner from about 40 yards out. No way Ryan was saving that. Absolute great ball from Reese James, and I really think that he's going to have a great season this year, and that is hopefully the start of it. Fantastic. Like I said, before this point we weren't playing that well, so we really needed that, and after that goal the whole tempo picked up. We started playing some nice football, linking up a bit more. Callum Hudson-Odoi coming on for Havertz as well. Havertz, like I said, a bit rusty, so did have to come off eventually. Hudson-Odoi really showing, that he got his chance. He didn't do anything too spectacular, but he did look comfortable on the ball and was, giving the Brighton defence a bit of trouble. And the third goal also came from a set piece. I know, guys, set pieces not our forte, but we did actually score one, and hopefully that's more set piece goals to come. Reese James on the corner, not sure if that would be a regular thing, but he was on the corner, whips it in, Kurt Zuma with the volley. It was fortunate, it did take a few deflections before rolling past Ryan, but a goal is a goal, we'll take it. Zuma gets the goal, assisted by Reese James. These two were two very key players for us in this game, so it was nice to see them link up for the goal. From then on we did start playing a bit better. Brighton still did have chances. Like I said, Lamptey was still giving Alonso a torrid time. That was Brighton's main threat point, was them attacking Alonso. And fair play, I'd do the exact same thing as well. Then the final whistle went and we had won 3-1. Like I said, Brighton probably a bit disappointed to not come away with anything. But at this point, when our players haven't had much of a pre-season, when we're getting in new transfers who are going to be rusty, all that's important in the first week is getting the 3 points and getting some momentum into our game going into next week against Liverpool. So, not a great performance, not the perfect performance, but, rusty, but, like I said, a win is a win, and we will all take that. So, a lot to improve on, a lot to build on, but I do think with the new signings coming in, with some of these players getting minutes in as well, I do think there is a lot of room to improve, and I can see a lot of improvements coming to our team as well. So guys, if I get into the player ratings, I will be going from the goalkeeper up to the forwards and rating each player's performance out of 10. 6 being the sort of base rating. If you had a alright game, not bad but not good, you're going to get a 6. So just bear that in mind for my ratings, guys. Kepper, he did come out for some of the balls as well and collected some, crosses, so that was a bit nice to see. He also made a save in the first half, but again, inexcusable him letting in that goal, and he still showed why we do need a new goalkeeper. So with, him improving a bit in some aspects, but that save, I'm going to give him a 5.5 out of 10, just a little bit below average for him. Maybe I'm being a bit generous, but I do think there were still some good aspects of his game despite him letting in that howler in goal. Going into the defence, I'll start at left back, get the bad one out the way. Marcus Alonso, probably our worst player on the pitch in the entire game, just getting outdone, outclassed by Lamptey. Didn't offer much going forwards either, as Lamptey, pretty much had him on strings in that regard as well. He is going to get a 4 out of 10. Would have been lower if we lost the game or didn't win, but seeing as we won, maybe I'll be a bit more generous and give him a 4 out of 10. Going on to the centre-back, Zuma on the left side. He was definitely our most solid player defensively throughout the entire game. Reese James was good as well, but I do think Zuma, he was making blocks, intercepting passing lanes, winning loads of aerial duels. Reese James actually won one more aerial duel, to be fair to him, but Zuma was solid. He took a shot straight to the cojones as well, making us men wince, and for getting the goal as well, wrapping the game up, giving us that cushion, even though it was a bit of a fortunate goal. I'm going to give Zuma a 7.5 out of 10. His partner Christensen, now I've been harsh on Christensen in the past, and I still stick by what I say. Would I like to see him starting week in, week out? Probably not. Luckily for him against Brighton, they don't have the most physical attack, so he can kind of deal with it a bit better, but he was solid. To be fair to him, I didn't think the mistakes came from the centre-backs. I do think a lot of it was from Alonso and Kepper, conceding that goal. So I will give Christensen a fair 6 out of 10. And going on to right back, the goal and the assist from Reese James, the young English right back. He was solid defensively, won the most aerial duels in the game, looked solid. Did get dribbled past once, which, wasn't great, but obviously he's young. He still needs to adapt, a bit rusty as well. He did actually come back from an injury in the under-21 European games as well, so we didn't even know if he was going to start, but he did. He made some good crosses as well, looked a threat going forwards, goal and assist. I'm going to give Reese James an 8 out of 10. Going into the midfield, N'Golo Kante and Jorginho had fairly similar performances. I would say that Kante was a little bit more solid defensively than Jorginho, who did get, passed through a couple of times. However, I am going to rate Jorginho slightly higher with a 6.5, as he did get the goal and technically did get the assist, which I do think has to have a part to play in, him getting a slightly higher rating, slightly above average. I probably would have rated him a 6 or maybe even a 5.5. If otherwise, as he wasn't the most solid defensively. He is a bit immobile. I don't want to see Jorginho featuring in all of our games, but he obviously is a good asset to us. Kante, I'm going to give a 6 out of 10. Was still a bit rusty, but he was fully fit, and it was nice to see. I think give him like 1 or 2 more games, he'll be back hopefully to peak N'Golo Kante, or as close to peak as he can get at his age. Just make sure that he doesn't get injured, please. I pray. Going up to Cam, we had Ruben Loftus-Cheek, second probably worst player in the team. It is a shame. I'm not going to judge him too much because he did still have that massive injury, and I do think it's going to take him a little bit to get his confidence back, but you can't help but acknowledge the performance in the game, and it wasn't great from him, and it did show the disparity when he was replaced by Barkley as well, at just how the team performed. So I am going to give him a 4.5 out of 10, but do think he'll definitely improve. Going to the wings, Mason Mount, solid. Some people say he didn't have a very good game, but he did actually complete the most dribbles and make the most tackles. Like I said as well, he didn't really have a pre-season either, only played a few minutes for England. So Mason Mount for me is going to get a base 6 out of 10. The other wing, Kai Havertz. didn't perform that greatly, but it is his first game as a young player in a new league. He had no pre-season either, didn't play for Germany at all because he was sorting out his transfer to us. I personally, like I said in my predictions video, wouldn't maybe have started him, but obviously Pulisic wasn't fit. Not sure why Hudson-Odoi didn't start, but you know, at the end of the day, we do have to introduce Havertz at some point and give him minutes. So this was probably the game to do that. A bit risky maybe, but it did pay off. He did show aspects of quality throughout the game. Like I said, he ran back and recovered the ball after losing it, and he also did make some very good one-touch passes and some good dribbles, but it still wasn't a great performance from him. Was a bit rusty, didn't link up greatly, so I am going to give him a 5.5 out of 10 with expectations obviously of him getting better. And lastly, up front, the main man, Timo Verna. Obviously, you know, he had a bit more of a pre-season than the other guys, looked a bit more lively. He was the absolute engine of the game. He was running everywhere, timing himself out. Actually, apparently suffered a knock when he went down for that penalty as well, but he carried on and should hopefully be fit for the Liverpool game. He did crucially as well win the penalty for our first goal, which really got us kicking off. He made some good shots as well, some really great runs, dangerous runs, which are definitely going to torment other teams' defences as well. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. And quickly looking at the bench, Ross Barkley, I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, when he came on, the game changed a bit. He didn't do anything amazing. He did make some good passes and good dribbles, but just when he came on, the dynamics changed. You know, the tempo sped up, so you've got to give him credit for that. Hudson-Odoi and Azpilicueta, I will give both 6 out of 10. As you know, they didn't really have much time to do anything when they came on, but they didn't put a foot wrong. Hudson-Odoi actually completing all of his passes as well, so fair play to him. I think he's going to have a very good season as well. Azpilicueta will feature more as well, probably just trying to get some minutes under his belt after that injury against Arsenal. So yeah guys, those were my player ratings, and like I said at the start of the video, I'm going to introduce you guys to my player of the season point scoring system. How this is going to work is every single Chelsea game I'm going to give the top 3 players each some points, and what we'll do is tally up those points throughout every single Chelsea review to the end of the season, and using those points I will decide who my player of the season is. I won't be doing this every single game, obviously. If, you know, shock horror, we, you know, lose a game 5-0 and no one performs well. Hopefully that never happens though. But obviously some games I might only give one player some points, or I might give 2. But hopefully most of the time, with some wins under our belt, I'll be giving most players 3 different ratings. Starting off with the 3rd best player in the team, I thought that was Timo Verna. He probably would have got all 3 points if we were just basing it off the first half, but I do think he was lively. He won that penalty, and he just showed great promise for him being a great Chelsea striker in the future. Fingers crossed. So he gets 1 point. Kurt Zuma getting the 2 points. I thought he was our most solid player defensively, at least during the game. Made blocks, won aerial headers, interceptions, and he did score that goal as well, if not a bit fortunate. I thought he had a great game. And with the whole 3 points, it is obviously the man of the match, Reese James. I'm assuming anyway he's going to get voted man of the match in the Chelsea Twitter poll. Surely he will. He got the goal, he got the assist, he was solid defensively, he was good going forwards. Really a great game from him. I only gave him, you know, an 8 rating just because we did concede a goal and he did get dribbled past once. But if not, he could have been rated higher. He will get all 3 points. So those points obviously will carry on to the end of the season. Other players will pick up points as well. These players may pick up more points, and by the end of the season I will come up with who I think my player, and potentially young player as well, of the season are. So I do hope you guys enjoy this concept. Actually leave in the comments below as well who you would give these points to, and maybe I can also have a look at those, or you guys can tally up yours and come to me at the end as well with who you think our player of the season should be. But yeah, that's it guys. That's my first review of Chelsea's first game of the 2020-21 season with a 3-1 win against Brighton. My preview for the Liverpool game will be out later this week, as well as an FPL video roundup of the game week so far. I actually did alright, so that should be good to go and analyse my team and see where I want to improve. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, like I said, leave a like and comment down below your thoughts on Chelsea's first game. Please subscribe for more football and Chelsea related content, and I will see you guys next time.